to the Cavalier Corner, a show in which we'll be discussing all kinds of fun topics related to student life. My name is Juliana, and today we are joined by Camille, Johan, and our very special guest, Camille. We'll be talking about our most memorable vacation. So, Johan, what's yours?
I think my most memorable vacation was when I went to this lake in Arkansas. I forgot what it was called. But basically, it was the most memorable vacation because I guess this sounds a little bit dramatic, but we almost got ate by a crocodile. Like we didn't. Okay, so, like what happened was we went boat rafting. Like we were canoeing, I guess, and it was kind of like this lake, and it was like around it there was a bunch of trees, and it was this little tunnel. And as we were getting out of the tunnel, we just saw this like rock. I was like, why is there a rock in the middle of like the tunnel? And then it turned out it was a crocodile. Like it was a straight crocodile. And literally we were trying to get out of there. And it started following us. And you know how like a crocodile like starts swimming fast, and it just started like, I was freaking out. I was literally freaking out. That I freaked out so much that I threw like the paddle at the crocodile. And then after that we had to swim, and thank God we were close to like this like little like I guess ledge, I guess. So we literally got out of the canoe and just climbed over the ledge and just walked through the forest, because like I was not planning on getting eaten by a crocodile, but it was the most scariest moment of my life.
Where was this?
Huh?
Where was this?
In Arkansas. I think it was called like Summer Sweet Lake.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, it's not sweet.
No.
Not sweet
How old were you when this happened?
I was 16. I think that was my most memorable experience.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
I'd say so. If that happened to me, I'd remember it forever.
Forever. Yeah. I would say my most memorable vacation was when I went on a cruise. And I went to various countries because I went to the Cayman Islands, I went to Cozumel, Mexico, and I went to Jamaica, which is my hometown. However, so what made it so memorable, it was like a culture shock. When we were in Cozumel, for the day, we went to this hotel, and you'd spend the day at the hotel instead of, I wandered around first, and then you just go there to the hotel. And I did not grow up with Mexican cuisine around me. So I was only introduced to the Mexican cuisine through America. Mm-hmm. When I went there and I ordered nachos. When I ordered nachos, my expectation was just nachos with cheese on top of it. That's the nachos that I was introduced to here. So I'm there at the hotel and I'm like, hey, can I have some nachos? Because it was the only thing that I understood on the menu, to be honest. And when I got the nachos, it had the chips and the cheese, but it had like meat, and it had like all these various additives to it. And I'm like, I ordered a nachos, and she comes and she was like, this is a nacho. I'm like, wait, what? And there's like, yeah, this is a Mexican nacho. And when I tasted, it was so delicious. I make it a point of duty that when I travel anywhere, I should always, try their cuisine, taste their cuisine, just to differentiate or just to get a different taste from it. But that was nice. And then when I went to the Cayman Islands, of course, you had to try their food just to differentiate, because I was from the islands too. I was like, we have the similar cuisine, but it's just different in their own way. Like each of them are. So my best memorable moments is when it comes on to food when I'm traveling. Always try their cuisines.
Dang, that sounds pretty cool. Honestly, that sounds good. Like the nachos. I
know.
Yeah.
Guys, you should honestly, when you go to Mexico, try their nachos. Don't use, you have to compare it between the American nachos and the Mexican nachos.
No, yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. What
That's
about
great.
you, Cambry?
So
What's
I
yours?
think mine actually kind of similar to Johan's, but not as dramatic. Um, the last like big family vacation that my family took before my older brother moved to go to college, we went to Colorado Springs and we went whitewater rafting. And so we thought it was what we signed up for was like a scenic slash whitewater rafting tour. So you weren't going to be like hitting the massive rapids. Like we weren't paddling or anything. We had a guide that was doing all of that. So my sister she's 10 now, but she was like 2 when we went on the trip. So you had to be 5 to go on the like river float or whatever. So my mom stayed back at the like camp area with her. And so we went and they warned us. They were like, the waters are like flowing 10 times more than they should be this time of year. Like the snow is melting a lot faster. And so we're like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. But we had like a really excellent like tour guide with us. And so we would be going along and we'd hit some like really big rapids, and then he'd like float us around and he'd like point out different wildlife and different native plants, and it was like super fun. And they do it in 3 rafts. So there's like one raft that's like a little more experienced. So those people actually like the guide, and then the visitors will be paddling. And then there's another boat, and then we were the 3rd boat. And so the first boat missed the levee area. They were able to get back in because they were all paddling. The second boat just shot off and like flew under this bridge. And so then they pulled in our raft, and we loaded up in this old like 1970s dilapidating school bus. And that's what they pick you up in. And we with a trailer on the back with all the rafts. And so we went driving around like the Rockies trying to find this raft that got lost on the river float.
That sounds like a really cool experience for sure.
What about yours, Juliana? What is your most memorable experience?
So for me, oh my gosh. It's hard to decide for me which one is like the best, just because I was fortunate enough to like travel a lot when I was a kid, because of my like dad's work at the time. We like lived in a lot of different places, so I've experienced a lot, and it's like hard to choose which is the favorite one. But one of the top ones up there would be, so in Paraguay you have sort of this, like it's a tradition of having like a big blown out party for your 15th birthday. It's just like a big thing, and you invite like
everybody.
Literally.
Would it be like a quinceañera? Is it quinceañera? Something quinceañera.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, we kind of compromised, and because I wanted to travel, I really did. So me and my mom, we went to Europe.
I'll take that. I would take that instead of a big party.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Like when the opportunity for travel came out, I was like, Mom, maybe this is a good choice.
Other than
Yeah.
Well, the fun part of this is that the younger version of me would probably want to celebrate with my friends. So I would be more like, Mom, let's throw a party. But this version of me now would be like, okay, let's go on a vacation. That was nice.
Even though I've traveled a lot, it was always like within like either North or South America. So I hadn't actually been to Europe before that, like prior to that. Like my dad had, but I hadn't, and my brother, but I hadn't, and my mom either. So we were like, okay, girls trip. It was just the 2 of us, and we did a tour of like a lot of countries. Like it was almost a month, like 3.5 weeks or so. And the first week we went to London because that was like a requirement for me, because I wanted to go to the Harry Potter studios. And we did, and it was amazing. And so that first week in London would probably be like the most memorable out of the whole trip, just because that's the city where we stayed the longest.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did you try talking, like, did you talk with an accent, like try to mimic? Because it's a thing. I think if I ever had the chance to go to London, I am going to put my British accent on. That's just me. Like when they're asking me a question, I'm not going to answer it in standard English and sound foreign. I'm going to talk in their language and be like, I don't even know how to pronounce British right now, but I think so. Did you do that, or were you?
So I didn't do that, but I had it like I had my own accent, like South American speaking English accent before, because I had that accent that kind of like started to die down as I came to the U.S. But at that point, when I was 15, so I kind of had that little accent there, and I went with that. When we got there, we were so tired, but
Oh yeah.
my mom was like, "We're not gonna sit down in this hotel room and sleep."
No.
Absolutely not. We travel like 20 hours. Get here. We're in London.
We're gonna live it up.
And so we went to like the market and just walked around the neighborhood, took the bus, which was like a whole process trying to get like the bus passes for it. Like we scheduled like a ride to the hotel that we were staying in, and my mom was like, "Can we please just stop and can you please help us get bus passes because we need this." Like we need this right now. We don't want to be like on Uber time or like taxis. Like we want to like experience the whole thing and we want to walk as much as possible. So we were like, okay. And so we got that, and then we like once we got the bus passes, we just went like downtown, and yeah, it was amazing. We stayed up until like 2:30 or 3 a.m. walking around. Like we did not notice that it was that late because we were just so amazed. It was like it was the greatest thing. Like that week for sure. I'd say it's like.
Because I think there's a time difference too, that where your body is not on their time. Yeah. So by the time you're like, if it's 2:30 there, it's probably 7 where you're like 8 or 10 somewhere off there where you lived. So your body didn't adjust as much.
Oh yeah.
But now I'm jealous.
Juliana, were you jet lagged? Like, were you tired?
The next morning, yes. Like I woke up and I'm like, oof, I feel horrible. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. But it was so good. Yeah.
I'm so jealous. So jealous. You guys have any upcoming trips? No. Everybody is like, no, we're not going anywhere.
Well, I was supposed to go to Cancun in July, but because of Corona, I'm going. Yeah.
I was supposed to go to Panama, and then I wanted what I wanted for this summer was to go to Macedonia.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I don't know. I'm postponing all traveling until next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was supposed to go to South Dakota and do like the whole Black Hills, Mount Rushmore, always wanted to do that as a kid. No. Well, Corona had other plans. So that trip is on the back burner, so.
No, yeah.
I'm still waiting to see if I can go back home to Paraguay for Christmas, although I'm not sure. It depends on what the situation is, not only here, but in Paraguay. So I have to see.
And then the thing with traveling now is that you don't know if the tickets are going to be high or low. And then the travel, because I've been looking into, going to Jamaica, and the traveling time now is different. Like you can't get a flight that will take you 8 hours. However, that flight is more expensive, and the other flights are like 24-hour, a lot of connecting flights. So it's kind of, I'm wondering what it's going to be like in like the lower part, well, say fall. What is it going to be like? Are the tickets prices going to be so low that you can just hop and go have coffee in a different state, or you can go, different country at a cheaper price? But I think I'm like hopeful that the price goes down.
Yeah.
So we can put some trips in there. But
I'm hoping, yeah, that the prices are not gonna be like super crazy, that they're gonna like actually go a little down. Although the prices to go to Paraguay are a little bit crazy anyway. They're a little bit more expensive than just like regular, just because I have to, like, obviously there's a lot of scales I have to do. There's no direct fly, so I have to stop at like somewhere else.
Yeah.
do
Panama.
you have to stop to a different country? Like, do you connect to a country? Which country do you connect through?
So I connect through either Panama or Brazil.
Okay.
Yep.
That's not bad.
How long does it take to get from like the PTI to Paraguay?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So it all depends on like if you're connecting flight and you need to wait like a long time. Sometimes I've waited for like 8 hours. Sometimes I gotten from like Paraguay to Brazil and waited in Brazil for like 8 hours. And then the flight to like go to the US. So in that case, it took like 20 or so hours. But because there was a lot of waiting.
Have you ever had a layover in a different country and exited the airport to just tour? Like, I've always wanted to do it, but I've never had that long of a layover.
I've thought about it and I want to do it, but the only time that I had that happen to me was the first time that I traveled alone. And I was 16, so I did not want to do that because
Right.
So many things can go wrong.
Yeah, I just stayed in the airport and like waited for another flight.
And the airport has free Wi-Fi, so you know you just sit down, charge your phone, you watch a movie, you play games. The time flies by.
You know,
quickly.
It depends on which airport and which country you're in.
Yeah.
So Panama has like an hour that is free, and then you have to pay for it. Brazil has like 30 minutes to an hour of free Wi-Fi.
They're evil. No, that is just evil.
That is.
Jamaica has an open Wi-Fi where you can it doesn't time you.
That sounds so nice.
That's evil though. Because you know what? And I remember my first time like traveling alone, and I had my local phone and I was coming to the States, and I was so thankful that they had Wi-Fi because I was able to connect my phone to the Wi-Fi so I could send out a message to say, hey, I am right here, meet me to this side, or I could communicate with even my family to say, hey, I've reached safe without them worrying. So I kind of see the importance of it.
Yeah.
But limiting it to 30 minutes or 1 hour, damn.
Yeah, no, that's why if I could, I would download things to my computer to watch or bring a book to read, and then just wait till the last possible minute to actually message them and be like, okay, I'm boarding the flight to go here now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, because I didn't want to like start texting them also because it's an hour, and if you run up, you run out.
You run out.
You run out.
Yeah.
It's expensive to pay.
Oh, nobody wants to be making international like phone calls or anything like that. Like,
Or
absolutely.
sending the text messages. My bill, it took me a while, trust me. I was like, yeah, I was in Jamaica and I was like sending text messages and, making phone calls. And when I got my bill, I was like, never again. So my phone stays on airplane mode throughout all my vacations because I'm not playing.
Yeah, when I go home, I connect to like my house's Wi-Fi and any Wi-Fi like that's free in the area wherever I'm going to, like the shopping mall or anything. And I just use the Wi-Fi. That's all I do.
Yeah. So cool. Everyone, if you guys are ever traveling, airplane mode all the way. Don't take it off.
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. We'd love to hear your suggestions on what topics you'd like us to talk about next. And we also love to hear your best vacation stories in the comments. Check out our other social media platforms. We are JCCC Student Life on Instagram and Facebook. And if you'd like to just check out all the other events that we have going on, check out our Get Involved at JCCC page. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.
Guys.